Gentlemen, to the finale of the ILR3 Season 5 Championship for Round 11. Today you join me in Brazil at the, let me see if I can pronounce this right, which is very unlikely, the Autodromo José Calopace. I don't know, that sounded Italian more than it did Portuguese, I'll be honest. But anyway, let's get straight into the qualifying session. The best lap time here is a 1:10 something. The best race lap time is a 1:11.0, and that was set by Max Verstappen in 2016. 2017 even. The race distance tonight will be 159-ish kilometres. No, more like 153 kilometres. With the 36 laps. The first Grand Prix was held in 1973 in Brazil, and the circuit length is 4.309 kilometres. And there will have some drivers beginning to exit the pit lane now. It looks like that's going to be a Mercedes first up in front. It is a Force India. We have the excitement of the French Grand Prix earlier today, as well as the 24 hours of the Nürburgring, although that is not Formula 1. As much as it would be interesting to see a 24-hour race with Formula 1 cars. This track then, we'll head straight out into the Senna S's. In fact, no, we completely skipped them. The pit lane follows them round, but completely skips them really. The elevation change around here is quite drastic. It's about 43 metres, if my mental math is correct, which it invariably isn't. So this is going to be Lawman's heading out first through here. There's not too many heavy braking zones around this track, so it's not too hard for using no ABS, although there is a lot of braking zones when turning. For instance, there you have to trail brake really. It's going to be an exciting race this evening. I've been looking forward to it all week, and Zach has won the championship, but there are other positions still to be fought for. CR7 and Scuba. I can't actually see CR7 there, so if he's not there, it means Scuba might be able to win the championship. All he needs to do is finish with 4 or more points, which will be a finish of 6th or above. That's all Scuba needs to do to take 2nd in the championship. Corey is 10 points behind Scuba, so we'll have to see how that works out. If Corey can take the win here, he might be able to overtake Scuba. We'll see what happens to the championship. It's been quite a good last time out in the USA. We had an excellent Grand Prix. Hopefully we can have the same kind of race this time around. And selection for the ILR3 championship next year will be beginning. Silas returning to the pits there, but we're meant to be on Norman, so I don't know how that's happened. But Norman's already on his hot lap, already about halfway through the Force India. Hopefully my mic volume is loud enough. We've actually got the Typhoon fighter jet engine of a tumble dryer on in the background, but hopefully that should be finished by the end of qualifying. Here comes Lawman's then. They'll be first to set a lap time. They're on the super soft tyres. It looks like they might be the option. In fact, lots of people going straight back into the pit. Maybe rain is going to happen. I'm not entirely sure what the weather outlook is today. And also, Mili Metz fan then setting the first lap of the one at 08.5. Very fast out there. Here comes Scuba to start a hot lap. We're going to ride on board. So we're going to go into turn 1. Yellow flags being waved. Relatively heavy braking down into gear 3. Bit of acceleration through turn 2. Lifting off slightly, but not all the way. Going past Lawman's there, already out onto gear 7 by the time you go through the DRS zone. Then a relatively heavy braking into the 90-degree left of turn 4, which acceleration out of is imperative to your entry for turn 6. Turn 5 flat out, then trail braking all the way around through turn 7 into turn 8, down to gear 2, up into gear 3, and then back down into gear 2 for turn 9, then up the hill towards turn 10. Heavy braking and lots of gear 2 in this middle sector here. Then out of turn 11, acceleration is key. Heavy braking again into turn 12, then it's flat out for the rest of the lap until you return to the pit straight. I'm going to check to see if my mic volume is right. So, go away YouTube, you're so annoying. I kind of need to open you in just a second. Anyway, that's going to be Scuba with a 1 minute 08.4 on the soft tyres. Corey with a 1 minute 08.2. And Millie Metzfan with a 1.8.5. And Deneen with the fastest lap so far, 1:07.6. Here comes Cohen then. Coming through Sector 2 now, up the hills. Then into Sector 3. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to look at the comments today. Don't do this to me like you always are. I mean, honestly. Was interesting to read and make good discussion. Now then, Seb, he's set a 1 minute 07.8 and he's almost on Cohen's speed and he's on the soft tyres. So you can see that some drivers have different skill. Hello, Dylan. My dog has just walked into the commentary box. Oh my goodness, and now the internet isn't going to work for me then. Oh, he's going to knock over my glass of water. Can you go away, please? Dylan, out. Leave. Come on, out. Honestly, dog. Alright, you can sit next to me and watch if you want. Oh no, goodbye then. I see how it is. No, you can't go into the garden through there. Anyway, we'll get back to the qualifying because I think that's more important. As Mr. Skysy's gone on to the escape road there. I think that's out of turn. Oh, I'm not sure where that is. Bless you, Dylan. I do apologise. Let me just go and sort out my dog. Give me 2 seconds. I'm very sorry. Dylan. Okay, so I've just had a look in the comments and it appears we're having a fully wet race. So this is going to be very interesting then. So you can see why, that makes sense as to why the drivers on the softs might be coming in onto the supers, because if it's going to be a fully wet race, this is going to be interesting. Look at this. Skyzy has the support from Risky Racer 44, who also clearly supports Hamilton, so I hope you're happy that Lewis won earlier in France. I know that's going to continue the streak of Mercedes victories. Skyzy, he's got set a 1 minute 8.4. Look at that, 0.03 of a second off Archie's time, both on the supers. Then we've got Hirschtrav, he's in the garage as we speak. Carriage on the other hand, coming around the final turn now to set a lap time of 1 minute 9.3. But it doesn't appear to be valid, whereas on the other hand we've got Game Boys coming through Sector 2 now. Zach, the championship leader, setting the fastest lap so far with a 1 minute 7.4. Carriage pole masterclass. Well, we'll have to wait and see. These wet conditions are really going to spice things up, I reckon. So it is definitely going to be an interesting race. I can almost guarantee you that now. So the championship standings right now. Oh, Game Boy setting the fastest lap with a 1 minute 07.3. Be very, very difficult to set a 1 minute 0 around this track. I can tell you that much now. So we've got F1 coming out on the 25th or the 28th, depending on how deep your pockets are. For me, it'll be the 28th, unfortunately. But I hope you're all looking forward to that. It should bring with it some good races for the next season of ILR3, which I am most likely commentating over. We'll have to wait and see. But the championship standings are going to be as follows. Zach, CR7, Scuba, Corey, CPI Seb, Carriage, DPNT, SSR Silas, Paga, Cohen, Slenderman, ILRT Massa, SSR Lawmans, Mealy Mets fan, XD Archie, Mr. Skyzy, QVRFC Game Boys, Deneen69, CPI Schumacher, unfortunately, who is ill. Hopefully he can get better soon and get back into league racing ASAP, because it's always good to have. It's not very nice to know that the drivers are ill. So hopefully he gets better and he can join us for next season. And then we've got Hushrav and Brimdinho, who's left the league, and I believe Hushrav is just struggling to get some points recently. He's DNF'd the last 2 races, but it's nothing too extreme. He's just a point off Deneen, 2 points off Schumacher, and 3 points off Deneen. So depending on where he finishes, he might be able to get some decent points up and move up the order out of 19th and somewhere higher. I mean, it's been an excellent championship so far for Silas, who only joined in round 5 at Austria. He's only done 5 races. He's currently on 46 points, and that's him in 7th. CPI Seb's Egg on 1 minute 6.9, very fast there. Game Boys with a 4.01, so it was all getting very close. Look at that, 4,000ths of a second between the 2 Renaults, so they're very evenly matched. Who's out on a hot lap? Here comes Zach around the final corner to set a 1 minute 7.420. No, I think that's his best lap so far. He's about to start a lap now. Then here comes Cohen. They're slower that sector by nearly 2 seconds. This is Silas coming through sector 2 now. Let's see what kind of lap time he can set here. Looks like a bit of oversteer, wheel spin caused there. And also, oh, that was either desync or some really, really big counter steering he had to put in there. But yeah, yesterday I was actually at Bedford Autodrome, and I drove a car for the first time. Yes, very good. I may have stalled it once or twice, but it was good fun anyway. So I'm, to quote Alex Kirsten, basically a racing driver at this point, or a commentator, you know. Hopefully something can come of that in the future. But anyway, I think with the wet conditions, that's going to really spice up the result of the race. So now, because of that, we've already got a couple predictions. Carriage, could he take the win here? Could he take the pole? That is the question. He's currently in the pit, so he's not going to be able to do it from there. Or will he be able to win? We saw Scuba was excellent in the rain last time out. Oh no, not Scuba, even... Yes, Scuba was excellent in the rain at the USA when it started falling towards the end of the Grand Prix. So we'll see what these conditions will bring with us. CR7 DNF'd last race. Zach has finished every single race this season. He's got 3 wins, 2 seconds, and 1 third. Then a 5th, a 9th, a 6th, and a 7th. So he's had an excellent season so far, pretty much flawless. I think he's the only driver to have actually finished or started in every race this season, and you can see how just being consistent pays off, because that's given him the championship. There's no way he can lose it tonight. Whereas Scuba and CR7 isn't actually here tonight, but he will be battling Scuba for that championship win. Or second, really. We've also got the Constructors' Championship to worry about. I'm not sure if that's been sorted yet, but it will be in roughly an hour and 15 minutes time, depending on how long our race lasts with these wet conditions. Of course, F1 based off of laps rather than time, so you never can, though. You hope Mata crashes. I did notice earlier there's a qualifying ban for Hushrav, and I think for Slenderman, and one of them has a 10-second penalty as well. So Mata getting some strong support there from Paul. Paul, hope you're enjoying the stream. And Silas appears to have run out of fuel there. So this is Cohen coming through sector 2 now. Carriage asking how in the world, not a direct quotation of course, everyone is so fast on a wet setup. I don't know, maybe his wet setup's different, maybe it will come with greater pace. And that's a 5-second grid penalty for Game Boys, who's had a collision with Silas. Mata had a qualifying ban as well. What's happened to Game Boys here? Where's Silas? Is that on the entrance to the pits? Ooh, bit of a voice crack there. I'm not entirely sure, but that is definitely very interesting, and I don't think anyone was expecting that. So that's really going to throw a spanner into the works tonight then. I believe Hushrab, after the incident at the final turn of Australia, the US of A, on around lap 2 or 3, he's got that penalty. Here comes Van on an out lap, whereas Slenderman's currently going through Sector 2 now, only just actually entering it there. Sector 1 only roughly 15 seconds long. It's pretty much non-existent on a track as short as this. But anyway, he's going to start heading through turns 4, 5, 6 and 7. Already going down the hill towards turn 9 actually. Struggling to keep up the hill then through the right-hand king into turn 10. Then the fast left-hander of turn 11, nearly flat out, having to back off slightly there. Then up the hill towards turn 12, and then flat out from turns 13 through 15 and along the straight. Will that be flat out in the rain? Very likely. I'm going to be honest, I was expecting rain this evening, so it's not come as a great surprise there. And also, because my tumble dry has finished, that's Slenderman, he's moving wide just to let the other drivers through. That's good work on his behalf. Yes, a Game Boy is currently in second. That will become 6th once that time penalty is applied. So I'm not sure he won quite. Oh no, I've closed YouTube, so I can't look at the comments. That is going to have a severe impact on the race, especially in the rain, where it's going to be very difficult to overtake. Here comes Courage then out of the final turn. Can he improve? Can he get this pole position? We'll have to wait and see. Here he comes then out of the final couple of turns. Also, do let me know in the comments if I think he'll be starting on them due to the wet conditions. So, yeah, everyone's on the softs apart from Corey. Corey's only done it. Everyone's on the supers apart from Corey, who's only gone on the softs. So, interesting. I'm going to take this moment now to quickly check how my mic volume is. Give me 2 seconds. Hopefully that's alright. Yeah, it looks alright. There we go. Just double checking that. It's always good to make sure you have the right experience. And yeah, so it's going to be a good race. I hope you guys are all looking forward to it behind these wheels. Especially on such a downforce heavy track, rain is always going to be very, very difficult to control the cars through. And you can see how much extra downforce these drivers have to add. And the variation in qualifying times is testament to that, depending on whether people want to base it off qualifying or race. And Carriage appears to have run out of fuel on the final turn. Not entirely sure what's happened, why he's run out of fuel just before the line, so he's just about misjudged that. And now 2 tenths up is Amelia Metzvan. This could put her in second even. Maybe third. We'll have to wait and see. Across the line, it's going to be third, which will become second once Game Boys gets his penalty applied. Here comes CPR Seb across the line. Not going to improve. Now we've got Cohen in Sector 2, whereas Scuba in Sector 3. He's come towards the line now, absolutely revving the engine through Gear 7. Across the line, he's not going to improve. Here comes Zach across the line. Big serve. Oh, he's absolutely clattered there. Here comes Cohen out of the final couple of turns there. So, there's a collision there. Deneen's up into fourth with a 1 minute 7.364. So 0.005 of a second quicker than Cohen. Cohen coming through the final turn now. What kind of lap time can they set across the line? Did they improve? That is the real question. That's going to be P5 for the Renault. Now then, we'll go through the qualifying order in just a second. I hope you're ready for the Grand Prix this evening, because I think it's going to be absolutely excellent. And I'm going to have another go at trying to have a look at this. So there's 2 5-position penalties, one for Game Boys and one for Size. They both got it for the collision. But anyway, the qualifying order is going to be as follows: Seb, Game Boys, Millimetz Fan, Deneen, Cohen, Scuba, Zach, Silas, Slenderman, Archie, Carriage, Mr. Skyzy, Corey, Lawmans, Hushrab, and Matter not setting a time. I do not want to leave session. That could have been very bad there. Do apologise. Carriage very disappointed, saying that's the worst quali he's ever done. So I don't think the pole was to be honest, there, unfortunately. I'll see if I can get these comments up, and that is some very heavy rain. I don't think some of the drivers are going to be looking forward to this, because I know how much I hate rain. Corey's also saying how bad that was of a quali. I'm just going to quickly blue screen you so I can have a look at these comments. Give me 2 seconds. I hope it's not too bad. Yeah, I do apologise for this comment. Carriage P11 to first, calling it now. P4 right now. Yes, who knows anymore. No. Let's see what Carriage can do. This is going to be a good race. I'm going to have some water before we get started because it's going to be intense. I can tell you that much now. Interestingly enough, on the bottom you can see which actual F1 driver would have those pit boxes. But along the wall, it's the drivers in-game. But anyway, never manual in the rain. What you want to do is upshift ASAP, really. That's all the advice I can give you because I'm not exactly qualified to talk about that. But it's going to be CPR Seb leading us through turn 1. Then Game Boys in what should be 6th. Then it's going to be Media Mets fan, Deneen, Cohen, Scuba, Zach, Silas all the way back there, Slenderman, Archie, Carriage, Mr. Skyzy, Corey, Lawmans and Hushrav, followed by Matter, both with qualifying bans. Following incidents at the USA Grand Prix. Now then, 36 laps to be completed this evening. Who will make it to the checkered flag? Not really worried about whether who makes it, where they finish yet. It's just making it, especially in these wet conditions. The line is going to stay wet for a few laps yet. Although they have this formation lap, by the time they come round again, because the rain's falling so thick and fast, they're going to really struggle to keep up those dry lines for a while. You can see it's slightly embedded in the track already, just due to the rubber out on track. You can see where the racing line roughly is. Some people are definitely going to run wide this evening. Some people may even get snap oversteer. And Slenderman and Archie have a bit of a touch there. And that's going to be both of them out of the session for now. Here we go then. 36 laps. The drivers lining up on the grid. The Williams going through the Williams. I mean, that's not something that always happens, of course. Archie did get disqualified. Anyway, we're going to have 5 red lights. Out and away we go. Hurled for an absolute age there. Who's going to get a good start? It looks like Seb's dropped down a position. Here comes Millimet's van trying to find somewhere down the inside. There goes Deneen round the outside of the Renault. There's 3 wide as Game Boys falling very far down the order from the start. Trying to get past the outside of Cohen. Cohen's not had the greatest start, losing 2 positions. Here comes Zach then. There looks like there may have been some contact further back. Could we see a move here from Silas into the next turn? So, in fact, Cohen going down the inside of Game Boys. Deneen has run wide. Now then, Carriage trying to find somewhere past here. There's Deneen going wide again. There's contact and Skyzy is out of the race already. You can see he's already right at the back. I'm not sure what's happened there. It's very likely we'll see a safety car as it's side by side between Silas and Game Boys. Game Boys trying to sling it around the outside, but he can't quite make it up into turn 10 then. Silas in the Salva, going to stay ahead as down the inside goes Deneen on Carriage. Side by side, who's going to stay ahead? It looks like Carriage can hold on to it around the inside line. Up into turn 12, it's going to be Deneen around the outside getting the position. And now Corey's going to be filling up those Red Bull wing mirrors. Look how close he is here. Senderman's trying to find somewhere past the car in front of him. But in fact, it's going to be Deneen getting past him. Seb sends fast out for the 126.8 now. Carriage trying to find somewhere past Deneen. As side by side go Deneen and Slenderman into turn 1. Side by side as it's Corey and Carriage. Carriage losing positions to Archie as well. And now he's got Hushrav right behind him. Up at the top, that's going to be Scuba and Seb into turn 4. Who's going to stay ahead? Can't quite tell just yet. It's going to be Scuba behind for now. Look at this. They're side by side almost as Scuba is trying to find somewhere past the back here. Zach's just made an overtake on Mealy Metz as Mealy Metz fan made a mistake. Can't quite tell as they've dropped 2 positions. Look at that. My dog is trying to eat some rubbish as well. I'll be right back. Scuba then setting the fastest lap as the 2 runners are side by side. Kern trying to find somewhere down the inside of Mealy Metz fan. Have I missed much? I was trying to get the dog out of my room. Of this room I'm in currently as Game Boys and Corey side by side. No, it's Corey and Slenderman even. Corey's going to get around the outside of Hushrav. Of Slenderman even. And now Scuba trying to go down the inside of CPI Seb. Can he quite make it? It doesn't look like it. Seb's going to hold on to the lead for now. It's not been the greatest start for Game Boys as I think Lawmans has had an issue. Is Lawmans off track? I don't know. There looks like there might be front wing damage. Silas then. Lawmans has left the session. That's not going to be good. Silas and Zach side by side. Zach the championship leader. Silas not quite. Zach has won the championship at this point in time, so he's not got much to race. Well, he's got nothing on the line there. It doesn't matter where he finishes it. To see if he can win the championship. CPR Silas then. He's got the slipstream ERS, but no DRS due to the adverse conditions. Down the inside into turn 1. They're going to be side by side. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like Silas has the inside line, which he'll hold on to for turn 2 even. Very, very close. Hopefully the jet engine in the background, not too bad. Scuba still trying to find somewhere past Seb, who's leading the race currently. Don't know about you, but the room I'm in is absolutely sweltering, and I'm boiling. I'm going to see if I can have a look at these comments. As Suba is trying to find somewhere around the outside of Seb. This is the battle for the lead. Seb's run wide, and that's going to be first position for Scuba. So Scuba, he's going to be around the outside for the next part of the turn as we run up the hill towards turn 10. Who's going to be out on top? It looks like Seb might just have the upper hand. Scuba's going to send it back down the inside. They're going to be side by side along towards the exit of turn 11. And Scuba with the inside line holding on to it for now. And that is going to be the lead for Seb. Still, he's held on to it very well. There's some excellent battling going on between these two. Now, Scuba has got the slipstream and he can try and make a move for it into turn 1 on Seb. Hello, Nick. I hope you're watching the stream and enjoying it. You've got your GCSEs over and done with. And I hope they went well. And I hope you're ready to watch an excellent race as Game Boys and Corey are side by side through turn 2. On the exit of turn 3, Corey is going to be out on top. But up at the top, it's going to be Scuba and Seb side by side for turn 4. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like Scuba is going to be out on top. Now we've got the 2 CPI drivers, Seb and Silas, side by side. The Triple S is up at the top here. Look at that, Scuba, Seb and Silas. Through the next few turns then, it looks like Scuba's going to be able to hold on to it for now. Absolutely excellent racing between these drivers through turn 9 then. Here we go. Absolutely excellent racing so far. Carriage is down in position on Matter. Let's have a look at this. It looks like a bit of a ding-dong battle going on as we go up towards turn 10 even. Down the inside goes Matty, still defending very well from the Red Bull, the Toro Rosso, the sister team, not quite able to make it past just yet. And he's going to have to leave off that position for now. It doesn't look like I can actually listen. Let me know if the mic volume's fine. I can't quite look at all these comments. It's very annoying. Shoddy Wi-Fi. I absolutely hate it. And also, the walls of this room are about a foot thick, so any chance of the Wi-Fi signals passing through there are minimal. Now Mata trying to find somewhere past Deneen into turn 1. They're going to be side by side. Deneen's going to hold on to it for now. This is the battle for 11th. Carriage is right behind as well. So let's see how this plays out. Lawmans has rejoined as it's going to be 3 wide towards turn 4. Carriage on the inside. He's going to get ahead of Deneen into the braking zone. And now Mata's all the way back down to last. Deneen has lost 8 positions since the start of the race. Although he's still ahead of Mata, but will he be able to do that? No, he won't, because Deneen's had a bit of a slide there, I think, and he's had to lose those positions. And that's going to be 13th position for him. Now, Slenderman and Game Boys, these guys are very close. There's yellow flags in Sector 3. Not quite sure what has caused that. Keeping an eye on the timings. Nothing telltale. Maybe just a bit of a slow car or something like that. Already lap 6 of 36. We're a sixth of the way through. And it has been very good so far. These wet conditions really changing. And as the dry line begins to evolve, look at this side by side into turn 1. You can see faster laps being posted every time. Every lap. Seb's currently got a 1 minute 20 as fast lap, or Scuba even. It's really annoying how their names all begin with S. Now it's going to be side by side on the run towards turn 4. Who's going to come out on top into the braking zone? Seb and Silas. Seb runs slightly wide and Silas gets it on the exit. He's got the switchback maneuver down and complete there. And Scuba, with his wet pace, is already 3 seconds clear of these other drivers. So yeah, he's absolutely amazing in these conditions. And Deneen is out of the session. Don't quite know what the cause of that is. Maybe he's hit the barrier on the entrance of the pits. Not quite sure, but Seb and Silas really fighting tooth and nail for this second position here. In fact, I'll have a look at the championship standings because CR7 and Scuba, if he wins, he'll definitely overtake CR7 in the championship. Corey right now might lose out to Seb. Seb needs to gain 9 points on Corey, as Silas is just 11 points off Carriage, so he might be able to overtake Carriage in the standings by the end of this race. And Silas is ahead of Seb now. It's typical that the moment I look away from the screen to look at something else, there's an overtake that's made. That's something I need to work on for next season. And maybe next game, we'll have to wait and see. But so far, it's been an absolutely excellent Grand Prix. And I can't wear this headset, it's too uncomfortable. I hope you're enjoying the race so far, because I sure am. As Deneen has left the session due to his earlier DNF. Hopefully, he isn't too unhappy with himself, as Hushrab gets a 3-second time penalty. These time penalties will come into play at the end of the race, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out and affects the result. And these gaps are beginning to spread out. It looks like Seb, he's nearly a second behind Silas. Silas is gaining some time on Scuba, as I have an absolutely monumental voice crack there. About 3 seconds. He's maintaining it that much. He's actually increasing the gap to Seb though, so that's something he's going to be happy about. Although that gap now is up to 3.1 seconds. The closest battle on track then might be between Archie and Slenderman, and that's for 9th place. Although Mata and Carriage still battling each other. I know, Paul, you want Mata to not finish, so we'll have to see. We'll keep with this battle to see if we can catch him not finishing, if you have so jinxed him. But Silas, he's gaining and losing time on Scuba every lap. It's kind of hard to tell whether he will or won't make it, as there's yellow flags in Sector 3. Just making sure the mic volume is all good. I'm trying to have a look at these comments, but they don't seem to want to load. And this headset is just making me so... I don't know why, but today has been so humid. And it's just really hot wherever you go in the UK. Lap 9 of 36 then. We're a quarter of the way through the Grand Prix. The rain's still coming down at full pelt. 5 seconds stop go for Hirschrath, speeding in the pit lane. and it looks like people are going to hunker down for now until we enter the first phase of pit stops. That's Hushrav out of the session. Has that happened in the pits? Has he hit the pit entrance barrier? Has he just decided to retire? Maybe the wet conditions too much for him. I'm not entirely sure. That's the second driver who's DNF'd whilst entering the pits. I think he might have retired in the pits. Not quite sure. And that's going to leave just 13 drivers left. So this is turning into more of an endurance race than anything, I'm going to be honest. This is Milamets fan. Milamets gaining on Cohen. The two Renaults still battling. They're battling in qualifying. They're battling at the beginning of the race. 10 laps in and they are still going at it. So we'll hold on to these guys for now. Although Carriage and Archie. Oh, big lock up there from Archie. That could give Carriage the opportunity he needs. ILR matters right up Carriage's gearbox though. So who's going to come out on top? It looks like Carriage might have the run on Archie. He'll have the slipstream and the ERS. No DRS along the straight then. Can he get it down the inside? This is for the points positions. Under braking, they're going to be side by side. The Williams having to slot in just behind the Red Bull there. In fact, he's run wide, and that's going to give Matter the position as well. Now Matter will be looking to get past Carriage up into turns 5, 6 and 7 and whatnot. And it's going to be Carriage ahead. Now ILR Matter will be looking for somewhere to make a pass on this Red Bull. These guys have been driving and batting it out pretty much the whole race so far. Slenderman's also relatively close behind Game Boys. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And even in the wet, you can see how stable and fast these F1 cars are. And I know for the drivers behind their PlayStations at home, it's going to be a real struggle to keep concentration at the max throughout the Grand Prix. Already lap 11, so it's going really fast this race, and that's just showing how much action we've been blessed with. Hashtag blessed, any of you Hamilton fans whom I despise. Well, that slipped out rather easily. ILR Matter then, trying to find somewhere past Carriage. We're going to... Oh no, I do not want to open a video about whatever the hell that is. ILR Matter still trying to find somewhere past Slenderman and... Oh, not Slenderman. Carriage, who will be looking to gain on Slenderman. Although Slenderman is gaining on Game Boys in front of him. Alright, Spag, welcome to the chat. And I know it was a while ago, but bye, Nick. I haven't started ILR3 yet. No, what's happened? Yeet. Spag, you're beginning to sound a bit like Simsy Danger. Any of you from RLH will understand that reference. And I'm sure he will now. But it's been quite a good race so far. I hope you guys are enjoying it. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want to sign up, sign-ups for the next season I believe are open or soon will be. They will be actually when the next game gets released probably. So do keep an eye out for those if you're enjoying the racing you're watching and you want to be part of it. Qualifying is based off time trials around tracks like Austria and Silverstone to gauge how fast you are and to put you into your championships. Spag won the championship, ILR3 championship last year, but this year it's going to be Zach, and that will be him moving up into ILR2. Slenderman trying to find somewhere past Game Boys. Not looking likely that he can get past, unfortunately for him. Very close though into turn 1. You can see they were very nearly inside each other. That front wing got very, very close to the back of that Toro Rosso. Now, Game Boys, having had that 5 place grid penalty, he's only lost 2 positions since the start. So it's not been awful for him, but it's not been great. Scuba, on the other hand, having an absolute belter of a Grand Prix. He's already gained a 5-second gap to Silas as we're just past a third of the way through the race. Slenderman then coming along the straights, and Carriage has got past Matter. Now he has extended that lead so far into turn 1. Can the McLaren find anywhere through? It looks like Game Boys has run a bit wide. Corey's got a 3-second time penalty. He's currently in 7th. He'll stay that way for now if he can keep that gap up. But out of turn 3 even, there's going to be side by side. In fact, Slenderman has got the run on Game Boys. They're going to be side by side into turn 4. You can see the front of that Toro Rosso right next to the McLaren. Can he get the switch back on? It doesn't look like it, and Slenderman's going to be up into 8th position now. Having gained on Game Boys for quite a while, he's managed to get that position, and now he's extending that lead quite massively now. Behind him is Carriage. Carriage trying to find somewhere past Game Boys. In fact, he's getting very close to the Toro Rosso. Carriage in a very literal Toro Rosso sandwich. It's a beef sandwich, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Toro Rossos, and a Red Bull. It's basically like 2 McDonald's beef burgers around a Five Guys beef burger, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Because yeah, we're just going to stop talking there. I don't think that's a very good idea. But Game Boys has run onto the grass, and that's going to give Carriage the opportunity to move to the inside along the straight into turn 1. Can Carriage get the position? They're going to be side by side. Looks like Game Boys is going to send it around the outside, which will become the inside line for turn 2. These Senna S's really struggling to make the drivers struggle to make an overtake, although Carriage has managed it. And now Game Boys will be looking in his mirror, seeing them full of teammates, as Massa's got the run out of turn 3 towards turn 4. He's going to take 10th positions. This was a battle for points. Game Boys just losing out quite monumentally through that first sector there, and that's going to be him in 11th. So right now he won't be able to make any positions, any points even, and that means no positions in the championship. I don't quite know where he is in the championship right now though. And Massa behind him is Game Boys. Sorry, I'm very tired. I had to get up at 5 o'clock yesterday, and then this morning I woke up very early. Because basically what happened was, I plugged my iPad in bed. I was watching the 24 Hours of Nürburgring, fell asleep watching it, then I woke up about 4 o'clock because my iPad was absolutely boiling from it, and my leg was being scalded. So yeah, that wasn't very pleasant, and I was up about 4 o'clock. Then I went back to sleep. Yeah, but anyway, I hope it's going alright. I hope you're enjoying the race. I sure am. We can continue for lap 15 of 36. Now, let's see who's made a pit stop yet, because I don't think anyone's made a stop unless they've had damage. In fact, the only person who's made a stop and still in the race is Lawmans. Now, I mean, 1 in 3 drivers who've made a stop have actually come out of the pits. So that's something quite interesting. That's an interesting statistic, if you're into that sort of thing. But anyway, Massa and Carriage and Slenderman. This is the next great battle on track. Carriage will be looking to gain on that McLaren, although Massa is doing a good job of that on the Red Bull, as he's going to send one from very far back, trying to get it down the inside into turn 8. That was a very late break. Now he's run a bit wide through turn 9. Out of there, up to turn 10. Can Carriage open or close the gap to Slenderman? In fact, it looks like it's increasing. Squibb set the fast lap with a 1:20.0. So it is all getting very much faster at the top. So the dry line is still getting drier, it looks like, if the drivers are still able to make faster lap times around here. Now Slenderman, he's going to get the run. He's not going to get the run. Carriage is going to get the run. Slipstream and DRS, but no DRS along the main straight into the Senna S's. How is the Red Bull going to fare? He's going to be side by side with the McLaren. Into turn 2, it looks like Carriage has got the position, but Slenderman might go for the switchback move here on the Red Bull. Who can get the better exit? In fact, Massa might be in with a chance here. He's run a slightly less wide than those other 2 drivers, and it looks like he's not going to be able to get one past for now. There we go. Slenderman running very wide there, and that could give Massa the opportunity he needs to get past. It looks like he has, and Slenderman's going to have to slot back into 2nd there, or 10th rather. 3rd in that battle. So this battle on track is getting very interesting. You can see from this angle there's still a bit of tread left on these tyres. They probably take it to halfway, lap 18, before needing to pit. And we're approaching that stage now. So yeah, it's only 1 stop on these wet tyres. Scuba setting the fast lap with a 1:20.05. He's really stepping up right now. He's pedal to the metal. He's got so much pace in the wet on this game. uncanny. Look at that. He's already got the gap to 6 seconds between himself and Silas. Very impressive driving from him. We saw his wet pace earlier. Game Boys has dropped back following being overtaken by Slenderman, ILR2 Matter, and Carriage. Slenderman's also over a second behind Matter, so now we'll keep an eye on Matter, trying to find somewhere past Carriage. As we approach the halfway point of the race, everyone on the wet tyres, so no chance of inters, I don't think, at all. Corey is gaining on Millie Metzvan. In fact, this might be quite interesting to watch. Lap 17 of 36. Corey is really closing that gap, so we'll come and have a look at how that goes. Yeah, look at that. It's down a few tenths through the second sector. The dirty air will not be helping him here. Let's see what kind of move he might be able to pull into turn 10. He's going to have to back off for now. Through turn 11. Really revving that engine unless we've got the rev limiter, which we may, I think we do have. And that is very, very horrible to listen to. And you can see just how cautious he's had to been on the throttle there. And he's not cautious enough because he's run onto the grass out of turn 12. And he's going to... No, I thought he was going to pull into the pits. Not quite. He's going to have to stay behind Neely Metzvan for that lap. And I think he'll probably leave it because the pit stop phase is about to open, I reckon. And the good thing is, although Archie just got a 5-second penalty, which was really not good timing, the good thing is, around this track, because of the relatively large amount of braking zones, the RS management isn't too difficult, especially in the wet conditions where you're not using it to its full potential. In fact, it's even risky to use it too high, use the ERS mode too high, because then you're at risk of wheel spinning out of the exits, or maybe bumping up the ERS mode through certain areas. And it looks like ILR2 Matter is either tactically using it to gain his ERS because it's currently full, or he's just trying to make it easier to drive through here, because you can see if he was using full ERS right now, he would have so much more wheel spin and power at his disposal, as Scuba is at 0.02 of a second up on his last lap, still setting fastest laps. He's not giving in, as Seb is going to pull into the pits now. Silas 7.5 seconds behind Scuba. We'll have to wait and see what happens after these pit stops. Now Corey is going to follow Millie Metzvan into the pits. We'll watch on board as the Renault has its pit stop. Matter getting past Carriages. Everyone's making their pit stop. If not this lap, they'll be making it next lap. There'll be a lot more tread on these new wet tyres. And that's going to mean a lot more pace for some of them. And it should be easier, less likely to lock up, all that kind of jazz. Carriage past Slenderman in the pits. You can see everyone making it. And now, the thing is, with this pit lane exit, it's very narrow, so you've got to be very careful that you don't crash. And there's nowhere to go if you crash. It's apart from the barriers, which is one problem with this circuit I always find. As Archie's just about come out, just about ahead of Game Boys on the exit. And now Archie's going to make a move on Slenderman. They get into turn 4. That was a very late dive bomb there. I don't think the McLaren was expecting that at all. Out of turn 4, Scuba sets the fastest lap again. He's now in the 1 minute 19th. He's really, really fast in these adverse conditions. It's very impressive pace from him. Now Corey is under half a second behind Millie Metzvan after the pits. So it's just the top 4 who've yet to stop. In fact, Cohen pitting now. So Scuba and Silas refusing to pit yet. Maybe leaving their tyres to the end. Maybe seeing an intermediate stage arriving. I'm not quite sure. It's an interesting strategy. And it's going to mean that Cohen might come out in between these guys that are battling now. I think he was slightly ahead of me the next time though, before he pitted. So we'll have a look. He's exiting now. It's going to be close though. Look at this. I think, yeah, he's going to come out miles ahead, in fact. He's a good 2 seconds clear of Millie Metzvan, although he's not had the greatest deck out of the pits. Millie Metzvan's going to be looking in her mirrors, seeing it full of Corey. And now it's just the top 3 yet to pit. And although the drivers aren't that close, because of the pit stops, you can see how far they will drop back when they happen. So they're not extremely close, but they're all relatively close to each other. Now Seb on Massa. Massa hasn't made his pit stop yet. It's lap 21 of 36 now. Starts going a 5-second stop go. That's going to be important at the end of the race. So we'll have to watch and see where he comes out. Massa then, bit of wheel spin there for Seb out of the final turn. Zach is closer behind Seb than earlier. Massa's going to go into the pits, and that's going to be Seb into the lead. Or, well, not quite, but Silas and Scuba all coming out of the pits at the same time. Where's Seb going to come out in relation to them? Can we see them off the left? It looks like they're going to be miles ahead. Yeah, they are. That's CPR Silas leaving just ahead of Seb. You can see Seb's able to see them off in the distance, and Massa finally making his pit stop. Carriage setting the fast lap with a 1 minute and 19.8. So he's still clearly got some pace, even though they're on brand new tyres. He might be able to pull something out of the bag here. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, there's always the possibility that something absolutely extraordinary happens at the top of the order and messes around with the rest of the race. We have yet to see a safety car tonight, which I'm very surprised about, as Amelia Metz fan still has Corey in her mirrors, still keeping him behind her. And will she be able to continue with that through turn 8 into turn 9? Can the Mercedes find anywhere past the Renault? Not quite, as we head up the hill towards turn 10 into the relatively heavy braking zone. Corey sending it around the outside. Amelia Metz fan keeping a defensive inside line. Now half throttle through turn 11. Lawman setting the fastest lap with a 1 minute 19.6, but only just. He's right now in last, so that's very interesting. He's 48 seconds off the guy in 12th, and that's game, boys. But now then, Corey has got the slipstream and ERS on Millie Metz fan. Slightly higher ERS mode into the Senna S's. He's had to back off there. Millie Metz fan took a slightly narrower line, and that's going to really compromise her through there. You want to carry as much speed and momentum as possible through the S's, but it looks like she's going to be able to stay ahead still. Lap 22 of 36, and not too long to go, just 15 laps or so before the checkered flag is waved, and there's a lot of opportunities for the drivers to change the order as we see it currently. Millie Metz fan now going to have to go defensive because Corey's really trying to find somewhere past here. Up towards turn 7, or 8 rather. Trying to go for the switchback move. Can he get the power down earlier than the Renault? Through turn 9, he's going to take the later apex, trying to get that power down early. He's had a bit of wheel spin, and he's not going to be able to quite make it past the Renault into turn 10. Nearly able to get under braking, but not quite. Scuba setting a 1 minute 18.8, absolutely flying around this track. Only roughly 12 seconds off his qualifying time, if that. So yeah, you can see he's not being hampered really too much by the rain, although it does look like the dry line is about as dry as possible. As I say that, Corey nearly runs wide. He's going to get the run on Millie Metz fan into turn 1 then. He's going to come out on top. Corey's trying to find somewhere past. He looked to the inside, couldn't find any room, so he moved back to the outside and into turn 1. By the time that had happened, he lost all the momentum he had on the Renault, and he's had to back off there. As we head towards turn 4 now, could we see a move here from Corey? Could he send one down the inside? He's going to take a sniff. Yes, he is. Oh, and there's contact. Is that front wing damage for him? Seb's got a 3-second time penalty. And I think Corey's just had contact with Millie Metz fan. And that might be front right wing damage to the Mercedes. That's not going to be good news for him. You could really hear the shud there from the onboard camera. And, well, we'll see what this does to him, because especially in the rain and around this track, you want as much downforce as possible, and that damage will very likely hamper his performance. Although it doesn't look like from the offboard that he's received any damage. That's very interesting there. Didn't see any carbon fibre come off. Maybe it was gentler than normal, just the shud, or the shunt sound made it seem worse than it was. That's always possible. Now also on F1 2019, the graphics, especially the rain, are going to be a lot nicer. I mean, they're not too bad right now, but in 2019 they're going to be, hopefully. You don't know what I was doing, the Italian piece of the thing, or whatever it's called. Carriage then, he's in 8th. He's, due to this battle between Corey and Mili Metzvan, he's been able to gain some real time here, and he's only half a second off the Renault, and now Slenderman's made a second pit stop. That might be due to damage, not quite sure, but we're now 2/3 of the way through the Grand Prix. Still got a long while yet, and lots of opportunity for the order to change. You can see the sun shining through the clouds in the background. Absolutely miserable weather, in contrast to some people I know in the Netherlands. It's been absolutely baking, and some drivers, one of the drivers' wheels fell off. I can't remember who it was, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But yeah, one of your wheel fell off, broke even the force feedback, potentially due to heat arm, although I doubt the substance that claim has. But anyway, that is very unfortunate for the final race then. Who's going to win? So, the finale of Season 5. I mean, it's been an absolutely excellent season so far. I'm so glad I was given the opportunity to commentate here. And, I mean, being given this racing is absolutely excellent. I'm really enjoying it. I hope to stay for next season, although through the summer, and there's going to be a couple weekends this year, or this the next few weeks, I'm not going to be able to make the commentary, so we'll wait and see how that all plays out, when the leagues will start and everything like that. I think people have yet to decide. The summer holidays then are going to have a real impact on league rating, because usually as it comes out towards the end of the summer holidays, people have usually finished their holidays or finishing them before the race comes out. But now, due to the earlier release, it comes out before the summer holidays begin for most people. Depending on where you live in the UK, it comes out a couple of weeks before. And yeah, so that's going to be it's going to be strange for the. It's going to be difficult for the leagues to decide when the races are going to be and what the when the schedule is, because yeah, as you can see, there's slight difficulty due to all of that to look out for. This battle then, Carriage behind Mili Metzvan, behind Corey. So Carriage is now going to be looking to get past the Renault for 7th position. He's had a decent race, apart from a relatively poor start. Carriage has been able to make up some positions. He's gained 3 since the start of the race. In fact, Matt has gained 7, so he's had an excellent start. And now round the outside into turn 1. Can Carriage make a move? They're going to be side by side. Although he might have to go for the switchback here. It looks like the Renault had some slight oversteering. Carriage just had to back off through there to avoid front wing damage. And look, he's had to back off again. Side by side, he could move to the inside. In fact, Mili Metzvan looks like they're going to be doing that. Into turn 4 then, he's going to take a sniff of the inside line. In fact, it looks like he's going to go for the switchback. He's taken the later apex. Can he get the power down early enough to make anything of it? It looks like he's got the run on the Renault. Oh, there's contact! And that was very, very on the edge of your seat moment there for Carriage. He nearly lost the race for both himself and Mili Metzvan. That could have ended a lot worse. He managed to keep it just about on track. Now Mata has decided to join the party here, and he's very close behind Carriage, although Mili Metzvan losing a lot of time to Corey. Corey really pulling away. He might be able to even be able to close that gap to Cohen. Cohen is in for a decent finish tonight with 10 laps to go. Can he make 4 seconds? It's possible. But will he be able to do it? Will he be able to keep up that kind of pace at the circuit? The something pace. But anyway, Sao Paulo offering some rather intriguing weather for us this evening. Not to say it's ruined the race, because we've been given this excellent battle so far for 7th, and it's been very entertaining so far. And I think it's still got a while to go. We're not sure who of these 4 really. I mean, Corey might have an accident or something like that, and that could mean the gap closes. But we're not sure who out of these 3 or 4 drivers are going to finish where when that checker flag is flying along the final straight for the final time this season. And it's all about where these drivers can finish then, because to take the win in the finale is always rather nice. Although I've never experienced that myself. Carriage, I've never experienced taking the win really in the league race. The best finish I ever was P6. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. But I was happy with it. Carriage is then trying to find somewhere past Mili Metzvan. Just 0.3 of a second. through turn 11, having to back off as he upshifts to gear 4. I'm not sure how great that's had an effect on him, because he had to go down to really low revs. There's a 5-second stop go for Corey, and Corey's off the track! And I was saying earlier how Corey might make a mistake, and the commentator's curse has struck once again. Corey off the track, major front wing damage. He's going to have to go into the pits, and that's going to be side by side with Carriage and Millie Metzvan. Millie Metzvan trying to send it around the outside. They touch tyres. In fact, they're touching more than just tyres. That's the whole body contact. And Millie Metzvan's going to take the lead, getting the elbows out there, getting very argy-bargy. And yeah, commentators of the curse out in full force there. Corey getting a 3-second time penalty for some reason, and he's decided to leave the session. I think he doesn't want to continue after that. It's just not gone too well for him. I think he's not in for a great finish then. And there's contact again between Millie Metzvan and Carriage. Up into turn 5. Can Carriage send it down the inside? I mean turn 6 even. For turn 7 into the braking zone. Will he be able to make it? Not quite. The dirty air will not be helping him here. And round it towards turn 9. He's still not going to be able to make it here. Oh, he's hit the curb, and that's a big moment there. Managing to keep it, and that's the second time something big's happened. If he has a third time, I fear he may lose it completely. Now Massa has been given the opportunity to close up that gap due to that mistake by Carriage, and I think he's going to be taking that opportunity very gratefully, although it looks like that gap's going to maintain around the same size. Carriage then trying to find somewhere past Millie Metzvan. The gap now back down to under half a second as we move towards turn 1. Trying to find somewhere, not quite. In fact, he's run wide. Bit of a front lock up there, and it's caused major understeer. A lot of trail braking, in fact, around this track. And that's something I've noticed from the get-go. Just the long sweeping corners. Here we go then. Carriage trying to find somewhere past Millie Metzvan. Into turn 4. Really struggling to get that nose turned in, I think. The dirty air not helping as we move towards turn 6 then. Up the hill towards turn 7. The sun trying to shine through the clouds, but it's not quite able to make it. Just like Carriage trying to find somewhere past Millie Metzvan, I suppose. Rather nice metaphor. Don't know where that came from, but anyway. Carriage, yeah, he's just not able to find the gap he needs past Millie Metzvan, and that's really hampering his ability of finishing in 6th. And I mean, this excellent defence from the Renault, really good driving, in fact, from all of the drivers. I mean, Carriage has had a few hairy moments, but nothing too bad. I think Corey is still, yeah, he's just left the session. I think he decided to leave after that incident. He's not going to be happy about that. In fact, don't know what I've done with my phone. Bit of a front lock up there. It doesn't look like there's been any chat in the ILR chat. I suppose. Oh, and Carriage running very wide there. Can he hold on to it? Yes, he can. He's had to soar with the wheel to keep it up. And in a straight line, he's getting very, very lucky now. I think he's on the verge of losing it. He's just struggling to keep that concentration, struggling to keep the grip there. Do his tyres have enough tread left towards the end of the race? He's still got a solid 6 laps to go. And I said he's having a few hairy moments. Any moment now and then he's going to lose, I reckon. Although if he just slows down a bit, just tries to keep a bit more consistent, he might be able to finish the race. I mean, it might cost him a position, but it's better than costing him many, many points. Many more points than he would have if he were to just lose a position, which would only cost him, I think, at this point in 1. Although don't quote me on that, I don't have the FIA point system memorised in my head, unfortunately, as much as that would be very useful. But anyway, Carriage trying to find somewhere past Millie Metzvan. These 3 drivers providing an excellent battle so far. I'm keeping a look up the side, but it looks like this is closest so far. Now, through the Senna S's, Millie Metzvan trying to defend very well, actually. Not even trying, succeeding in defending against Carriage. Carriage keeping it on track that time around. Into turn 4. Massa might be trying to find somewhere through, not quite. Through turn 5 then, flat out. This is where the exit matters. That is the sun. Still full wet conditions this evening. And I think there's a potential that Mata could make an absolute move of a dive bomb through one of these braking zones. You can see the spray being kicked up by these cars as through turn 9 they go. Bit wide there as Slenderman has retired from the session. Not quite sure what's happened there. Has he run wide out of turn 1? I don't quite know. Maybe he's lost it along the straight. We'll go back up to this battle. Carriage trying to find somewhere past Mealy Metzan out of turn 11. Not able to find somewhere. Bit of oversteer, but he's managed to hold on to it. Or that was maybe desync. You never know with this game. Hopefully it's fixed for next game. That leaves us with just 12 runners, although Corey has left the session. Not sure what happened to the McLaren. That's both McLarens actually out of the race now. Lap 32 of 36. So these conditions can still catch drivers out, although I don't think we're going to see any more drivers losing it. I think they're going to try and just bring the cars home now. Carriage taking a sniff of the inside into turn 4. Not going to be able to squeeze it down the inside of Mealy Metzan. That was either contact or desync. Not too sure. Or maybe it was both. But it looked like that didn't happen in the actual game for them. I'm not quite sure. ILR3 Mata then, he could try and go for a dive bomb on Carriage. Paul, I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't look like he's going to be crashing at this race. I think he's going to be able to bring it home. Just in what position is the question, as Carriage trying to find somewhere into turn 10. Could have gone for a very late dive bomb there, but I don't think there was quite the amount of room that he needed. He did gain a lot of time though in the braking zone. As we enter the last 3 laps of the Grand Prix. Bit of oversteer again out of turn 12 for Carriage. Through the next few turns. And Carriage trying to find somewhere past the Mealy Metzan. Not quite able to get that room. Bit of a front lock up there, you can see on the left. It's not going to help him through here. Mealy Metzan using that dirty air to slow Carriage down, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too effective as Carriage is right up her chuff. Trying to find it around the outside. He's gone onto the grass to try and make that line as wide as possible, but absolutely excellent defending from Mealy Metzan. That's Carriage spinning the wrong way round. He's managed to hold on to it just about. He's kept it out of the barrier, although that's going to be 8th position. He might even lose the position to Archie. Has he got front wing damage? Yes, he has. So he has gone into the barrier there. I said that Carriage might lose it again. He's just not got the he's just not able to keep the car in a straight line, unfortunately. He's just had a few too many hairy moments, a few too many hairy moments, and it was inevitable. I think you'll have to agree. And that front wing damage is really going to hamper him as we enter the penultimate lap of the race. Will it hamper him enough to let Archie through? We'll have to wait and see. Archie will be gaining through this next turn, where front downforce is absolutely imperative to have. Lots of counterswing from both of the cars there, you can see out of that turn. Along the straight then, Carriage is going to pit for a new front wing. He might have some extremely bad front wing damage, in fact. And I said he might have to just back off for risk of not finishing the race rather than losing a point. But he decided to keep going for it, and now he's only going to finish with 1 point on the board. Then here comes ILR3 Mata on the back of Mealy Metzan. Just 0.3 of a second as we move towards turns 6 and 7. Not going to be able to quite make it through here. Still backing off as we approach the final lap of the race, which Scuba has started, not quite started yet. So these drivers here, Mealy Metzan and Mata, all on their 34th lap of the race. Soon we'll enter the last couple of laps. They have not been lapped yet, and I think it will probably stay that way. Mata really struggling to find somewhere through Mealy Metzan. She's been defending absolutely excellently throughout the course of this Grand Prix. She deserves that 6th position very much, and she's just been able to hold on to it so well, and that kind of drive deserves it. But there's still another couple of laps to go where Mata could try and force his way through turns 2 and 3. He's not going to be able to make it. and out of the exit. He's running out of opportunity. He's just got 2 laps to try and find somewhere past this Renault. It could be a 5-6 for the Renault team. That'd be an absolutely excellent finish then. Emilia Metzvan running a bit slow out of turn 5. Massa had a bit of a run, but not enough to make a move as we head towards turn 6. We're on the final lap now. Scuba's even on the final lap. He's just had an excellent drive. He's so fast in these wet conditions. It's absolutely insane. And look at that, he's nearly 12 seconds clear of Silas, and there's been no incidents between them. He just managed to find that pace with these tyres, with these conditions, and just congratulations to him for having such a good drive. Now you can see with the elevation change around this circuit, you can see the Red Bull of Carriage over in the background. He would have been in this battle earlier had he not had his incident, but around the final turn for the penultimate time, we're going to go up to Scuba. In fact, no, we're not, because Mata could be trying to find somewhere past Mealy Metzvan here. Into turn 1, not quite, so we'll go up to Scuba for now, because he's heading through the final few turns. In fact, we'll go up to Mata, because he's trying to find somewhere past Mealy Metzvan. We'll have to go back up into turn 4. Could he make a move? Mealy Metzvan getting the run on the exit, and he's losing time now. Mata, he's losing that opportunity to take that 6th position off her. As through the final couple of turns for the final time this season goes Scuba to win here in Brazil, setting the fastest lap of the race along with it. As Lawmans overtakes Corey on the final lap, then comes Silas to finish 2nd. What a race. Then it's going to be Seb. 5-second time penalty there for Silas, but I don't think it's going to affect the standings too much. Here comes Seb. Then it's going to be Zach, the championship leader, crossing the line to take the ILR3 World Championship. There is Cohen next. Corey getting a 5-second stop go, a 5-second time penalty for unserved stop go there. Here comes Cohen then with a relatively decent drive, not too much of battling going on for him there. Then Mealy Metzvan with ILRT Massa close behind, coming out of the final turn for the final time this evening towards the line with an absolutely excellent drive there. Just 2 and a bit tenths clear of Massa. What a drive from the Renault. Then it's just going to be Game Boys to finish, and that's going to bring an end to the ILR3 Season 5 Championship, which it's going to leave a bit of a hole in my Sunday evenings for a while now before the championships are all sorted and the next season gets underway. But anyway, it's going to be the top step for Scuba with an absolutely insane drive in the wet conditions, taking the fastest lap on the final lap. It's absolutely flawless race for him, really. He just has the pace in these wet conditions. In F1 2019, though, will he be able to retain that? And will he still be in ILR3 at that point? Anyway, what a race. You can see just how wet these conditions are, and that was a bit of a glitch as I get 2,500 XP for some reason unbeknownst to me. But anyway, the finishing order is going to be Scuba, Silas, Seb, Zach, Cohen, Amelia Metzvan, ILRT Matter, Game Boys, Archie, Carriage, and Lawmans and Corey. The DNFs are going to be Slenderman, Hushrav, Deneen, and Skyzy. What a race that was. Some excellent battles being put on there for us by Amelia Metzvan, Matter, Game Boys, and Carriage. Got to give props to them. And also props to Scuba. Just look at that gap he had to the drivers behind. It's so much pace. It was the only driver to breach the 1 minute 19 barrier and get into the 1 minute 18s. Anyway then, that is going to bring an end to the ILR3 Season 5 Championship. That was round 11 here in Brazil. And I guess this is where we say goodbye. But first, I would like to say thank you so much to Jack for organising the league and allowing me to commentate. Thank you to all of the drivers for participating and supporting each other throughout the course of this season. It really has been excellent. The sense of friendship in the league is immense. And yeah, I just want to say thank you everyone for such a good season. Thank you so much for supporting the ILR channel and supporting the league. And I hope you enjoyed this season. I certainly did. If you want to know who I am, you can find me. My YouTube channel is Barless. But anyway, if you want to get into league racing, you can find the ILR link in the description. You can also sign up, which will take you to the website. You can also, if you want to commentate, always feel free to message Jack on Twitter or the ILR League Twitter account. But thank you guys so much for such an excellent season. I really can't stress it enough. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Anyway, I think we're going to leave the stream there. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race. I hope you enjoyed the season and all the other seasons past. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.